Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Plus. I'm Shweta Kothari. We're bringing you stories from the world of business, policy and economy. First up, let's begin with how markets closed in the green today. With me is my colleague Suyash Maheshwari. Suyash, a slight upbeat on the Indian stock markets today on the back of a lot of global cues and domestic cues, but ending on a greenish shoot this afternoon.
Definitely, Shweta. So, markets was on a 5-week losing streak. Now, amid positive cues from the Asian markets, because of which the Asian stocks were trading higher, Indian markets also reacted positively and opened in green in the opening trade today. Now, we saw some profit booking at the latter half of the session in the last 2 hours, because of which the gains paired and Nifty ended about 0.1% higher at 19,300 level, which has emerged as a crucial support for the index. Now, Sensex was also up about 0.12% at 64,965 mark, so it closed just shy of the 65,000 mark. Mid cap and the small cap space saw some buying interest. The Nifty mid cap 100 was up 0.5% at 38,662 levels. Now, the small cap index Shweta was up 0.74% at 11,957 levels.
All right, I think Ashish Maheshwari is joining us at this point in time. Ashish Maheshwari is the director of Arihant Capital, live with us this afternoon. Okay, he's not with us, I'm given to understand. So Nifty there and ending on a positive note, Sensex ending on a positive note. And since we're talking about the global cues and we started with that, the Jackson Hole Symposium seemed to have calmed nerves and jitters for investors in the stock market. We'll have to wait as to see how stock markets open up in US this evening, which will be Monday morning for them. But Indian stock markets are picking positively to the cues that inflation at this point in time, there's a hawkish stance on inflation as far as US Fed is concerned.
Yes, Shweta. So the markets were expecting a more hawkish commentary from Jerome Powell. Now, the expectation was that Powell will give some clarity on whether the Fed will hike interest rates or not. Rather, Powell took a stance where he said that while inflation is a key concern, at this current juncture, Fed will tread cautiously when it comes to interest rate hikes. So, the expectation as a result, US markets on Friday bounced back after a 1% drop in the previous session, and then there was a economic packages from China coming in, because of which Asian stocks also joined the rally, and as a result,
a rebound there.
A rebound in across the board for domestic as well as global equities.
All right, Ashish Maheshwari, director of Arihant Capital, joining us live on the show at this point in time. Ashish, thanks very much for taking time out. I want to begin by understanding the green shoots that we're looking at in the Indian stock markets this afternoon. Are you going to see this recovery continuing for the rest of the week, or is it just one-off today? And now also perhaps weigh in on what sort of global cues you're tracking this afternoon.
Instead of more global cues, Indian markets have moved today on more domestic related developments, or wherever institutional players are invested in are bullish in a particular sector. For example, for railway, telecom, these are the sector where the money is again chasing the stocks. And in my view, market is not that much worried as far as what happens in US or whatever the interest rate scenario takes place there. Because we have seen, for example, in the month of June, FIs were buyers to the tune of 53,000. Last month they did 33, and this month almost 8-9,000 crore only is the figure. But still the market has, if you see last 3 month markets are up by 6% still, and just down by less than 1% in this month. So what does it show? What does it show? That there is more domestic money which is keeping market alive. Though some phases of consolidation might take place, but today's closing of 19,300 is positive as far as my view is concerned.
So, Ashish, what's your directional view on the benchmarks, both Nifty and Sensex?
Yeah, in my view, 19,300 reach today is quite positive. We have seen from lows around 60 points recovery in the market, and even the market was slightly static because of Reliance AGM related developments. But as nothing really concrete came in this AGM also, so in my view, slight disappointment as far as Reliance AGM is concerned, but otherwise market will continue its bullish move even in coming days also. So I'm not that bearish. In my view, 19,000 will play a crucial role. At the same time, 64,900 is good support level for Sensex. I'm expecting somewhere 65,200 to 300 marks there.
Now, yeah, thanks Ashish. So now Fed said that it will tread cautiously when it comes to hiking interest rates. So in light of that, what are your expectations from the September outcome? Will we see a rate hike?
So I think this is always a $1 million question whenever this such development, such meeting happens. But I'm not expecting they are going to do anything zippy because again, the way inflation, though inflation is hurting U.S. economy, but at the same time, you just can't keep on increasing rate and control inflation because there's disruption in global supply chain because of Russia-Ukraine thing. So whatever the interest rate you will do, supply won't be increasing that easily. And at the same time, if interest rate goes high, then ultimately your home loan and lending rate also goes up. So ultimately, there's greater fear the economy might slip into recession. So in my view, Fed will trade cautiously even in the next.
What about Reserve Bank of India? Can Reserve Bank of India also follow the path of Fed and at least for now keep a pause on the rate hikes and see how the inflation inflation situation pans out, or maybe we can see a rate hike in the future?
Add to that, Ashish, how worried are you with the headline inflation numbers? Do you see inflation going down, cooling off in the month of September? At least that's what the RBI governor is saying on record, that food inflation, pulses inflation will come down in the month of September. Although the MPC minutes of the meeting that came out were quite contrary to that. It appears that RBI MPC is worried about inflation. How do you see India mirroring US Fed, if at all? Do you see there's going to be a pause or rate hike? What are you predicting at the moment?
I don't think so. RBI will act ahead of the curve to increase the interest rate at this point of time. As well as RBI is concerned, they have also said that this inflation, what we saw in previous month, is driven inflation. So your tomatoes and onions just disturbing the equilibrium. But again, prices started moderating. We have seen from 150 to 100 rupees to tomatoes coming down to again below 50. Again, onion also. The government is quite proactive. At the same time, they have stopped the export of rice as such. So staple food prices are also under check. So in my view, this increasing interest rate should be the last option for RBI government. They may talk, but they'll not do.
All right. Now, and since this is a Monday, there are some key indicators that perhaps the markets will be waiting and watching out for through the week. And of course, upcoming Monday, which is the Q1 GDP figures, the fiscal deficit, the core output, the core sector output, all of that, all those numbers are likely to come out later this week. In fact, on 1st of September, how much would that downplay on Indian markets? What sort of impact is that likely to have?
No, I'm not that, as far as my personal view is concerned, I'm not that bearish for any of these data. These data will come and go, but market will continue to maintain the momentum. One thing we must understand, this is an election year, and the kind of money spending is happening by almost all government departments, be it central government or state government. This will keep the money rotation on quite faster pace, and this is the reason we have seen a lot of PSU stocks which are not going anywhere for donkey years. They are the best performer in recent times, and this performance will continue. So your capital goods, your infra, your telecom, your retail, all allied sector will continue to do well. So whatever data comes, I think life of that data is nowadays a 1 hour or 2 hour, not more than that.
Okay. Any major triggers that you are tracking apart from what Shweta listed?
No, in my view, the next trigger which is going to be is quarterly results. So we for this actually we need to wait. And traditionally, September is always a good quarter for Indian market. So in my view, again, very stock specific action we are going to see. I'm not that bullish as far as Nifty and Bank Nifty is concerned, because these are the sector where these are the indices where FIs plays and they maneuver the market. I think it will be more stock specific action, because most of the money, institutional money, which is coming in by domestic institutional investors like MF or insurance companies, they are buying very good quality mid cap stock and adding in their portfolio instead of large cap stock. So, in my view, very selective action is going to be there, and ahead of result season, you will see good rally in NSE 500 or small cap 100 also.
Ashish, before we jump on to sectors, you said one thing that that since it's an election year, the focus will shift to that. Do you expect government's capex cycle to also pick up? And if it does, what sectors can it benefit?
It's already picked up actually. If you see the kind of announcements are there from government to road projects or railways or airports, so much is happening. If you ask me, so and directly like if we see even take example of railway, these companies are having order book full for next 3 years now. Forget about 1 or 2 years. So no wonder your rides or aircon or other railway stocks are doing so well. So in my view, railway is a sector to watch for at least for next couple of years. Besides this, PSU stocks like NBCCs and SJVN, etc., will continue to do well. And third is, in my view, telecom is a sector to watch for. This is coming out of hibernation now, and the kind of aggressive plans are given by Reliance Jio. I think your stocks like even Idea is taking part in all telecom equipment manufacturer, etc. will do well. So these are a few sectors which will continue to outperform. Besides the large cap stocks like BHEL and capital goods space has not moved up even by 50-60% from lows. It has a long way to go because the kind of order book BHEL is having, the kind of order book L&T is enjoying. I think there's a lot of upside still left.
Okay.
Ashish, one of the themes that has been hogging the limelight has been defense. The defense stocks have run up significantly. A lot of them have turned multi-bagger this year itself. Is the space overheated, or are there still some pockets of opportunities left?
So yes, they have given phenomenal returns already in this year. So my view is that some focus is going to be shifted to other sectors which are having good order book or the valuations are not that rich. Even if you see in the defense sector, like the average valuation is now 40 times of their earnings, even 100 times of earning multiples. So defense stocks are now more into trading kind of category, and I think focus will shift towards other sector where the still price earning multiples are attractive. So stocks like hotel or telecom or pharma or textiles, these are the sectors where still you are able to find bets below 20 price earning multiples.
All right, Ashish, stay with us. Suyash, what other sectors are we tracking this afternoon apart from defense?
So Shweta, most sectors ended today's session in the green except FMCG and the IT pack. Now Nifty Bank, if you can pull up that chart, Nifty Bank was in action today. It was up about 0.6%, and what was also more important for the space was that it closed just marginally below the important support of 44,500. Another sector which was in action today was Nifty Pharma, which was up about 0.92%, and Nifty Auto, which added about 0.7%. Now Nifty IT and FMCG saw some profit booking. Nifty IT was down 0.41% and Nifty FMCG pack was down about 0.31%.
All right, Ashish, it appears Nifty IT, the entire pack continues to remain under pressure. We can't hear you, Ashish. I believe you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So Nifty IT is again a replica of what is happening in the US market. So same thing what you witness in price movement in Indian market also. But still, I'm not that bearish. In my view, instead of large cap here, the focus will shift towards mid cap kind of stocks where they are working in a niche area like artificial intelligence or digital side or EFX, etc. So they will continue to do well. We have seen stocks like KPIT or Birlasoft or Tata Elxsis, etc., doing much better compared to your TCS, Infosys. So, so in my view, it's better to take more calculated risk in mid-cap IT than the large-cap IT. Overall, I'm not that bearish, but focus is towards more mid-cap IT.
All right, let's also move to top gainers and losers at this point, Suyash.
Certainly, Shweta. So, among the top gainers were Power Grid Corporation, which has been in the news lately. It is up about 2.77%. L&T is another stock that has been gaining on a week-on-week basis. The stock is up about 44%. Year to date, it's up about 2.11% in today's trade.
What's leading to this buying frenzy?
So L&T, Shweta, if you remember, L&T played a crucial part in the Chandrayaan mission.
And they have full-page advertisements in almost all major news outlets as of today and yesterday.
Definitely, and we can see the result of it. The stock is up about 44% year to date. On a 1 year basis, it's about 55%. Today also, it was up about 2.11%. Now, Cipla was another stock which was in the news. It was about 1.95%. Mahindra and Mahindra ended 1.83% higher. BPCL ended 1.53% higher. Now, among losers was Jio Financials. The stock was trading higher in the morning, but after the AGM, the stock declined, and the same in line with Reliance's stock. Both stocks ended about 1 to 2% lower. Adani Enterprises, which also opened in the green today, saw some profit booking at higher levels and was down about 0.87%. Hindalco and Nestle India were also down about 0.8%.
All right, Adani Enterprises down by 0.87%, Geofin down by 2.05%, Reliance and Geofin, they're both down by 2.05 and 1.27%. We want to discuss Reliance in detail, Ashish, and I hope you can stay with us for that discussion. But essentially, the AGM, the 45th Reliance AGM, is not soothed nerves for investors today.
Yes, I agree. I think market was hoping that some value unlocking related announcement might come, like market was expecting when Reliance Retail IPO or Reliance Jio Platforms timeline for their IPO will be announced. So, but no such development came, and the AGM was regarding more air fiber launch on 19th September or similar, products launches, which are very small in nature at a given point of time. So whatever the hype was there or expectation was there, those are not met, and this is the reason we have seen some correction in the stock while closing. But going forward also, I think this stock will continue to remain under pressure because there is no such triggers in Reliance other than this value unlocking exercise. So whenever this development will take place, then only you will see some movement. Otherwise, slightly it's below expectation, or there was nothing new as such what the street wanted to listen.
Okay. We will of course dwell deeper on what came out of that AGM, but let's also quickly look at Reliance stock's performance. How has the Reliance stock done? What sort of value has it unlocked so far for investors?
Shweta, since the last 2 years, Reliance has been trading in a range. It has been more or less range bound between 2,250 and 2,800 at higher levels. Now, in today's session, it was down about 1.27%. In the last 1 month, Shweta, it's down about 2.48%. Year to date, 3.2%, and in 1 year, in the last 12 months, from August 28, 2022 to August 28, 23, which is today, it's down about 6%. So the stock has been under pressure, and at every rally, it seems that the investors are looking to book profits.
All right, investors looking to book profits, the stock down by as much as 5.84%. We want to discuss this in greater details. Ashish, please continue to be with us. But remember, Reliance Industries' 45th annual general meeting, the AGM, much anticipated, ended just about 5 minutes ago. RIL chairman Mukesh Ambani addressed the shareholders on the conglomerate's performance, its future plans. Among few significant announcements were with regard to Jio Air Fiber, which will be launched in India on 19th of September on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Also, the children of Mukesh Ambani, Isha, Anant and Akash Ambani are now inducted in the board of directors for Reliance Industries, while Neeta Ambani has stepped down. Let's quickly discuss some of the major takeaways from the RIL AGM at this point in time. Krishna Kumar is here with us. Ashish continues to be with us. Ashish, before I come to you, Krishna, take us through some major key takeaways, major announcements that came out from that, we saw a simulcast, in fact, on all social media platforms of Reliance. What were your big takeaways?
Right. Mukesh Ambani essentially began the 46th annual general meeting or AGM of Reliance Industries by talking about something called as, which he described as New Reliance. New Reliance, he says, is going to be a technology-driven company. He's saying that Reliance from now on is going to be driven by technology. It's a new age tech company. So he essentially said that New Reliance is a new age tech company, and that it's going to be producing, deploying and democratizing technology. That was the opening, he sort of set the tone for the AGM speech with those opening remarks, even as he spoke about the emergence of the new India as well, and how much Reliance is contributing to this new India in terms of, he listed out how the contribution made by Reliance Group in terms of money made by Reliance Group to the national exchequer to the tune of 1,70,000 crore rupees, and he talks about 2.5 lakh jobs being generated by Reliance. So those are the big picture points with which Mukesh Ambani began his 46th AGM. From there on, he did spend quite a bit of time, Shweta, on a couple of things. One was obviously Reliance Jio, the telecom business. Investors, I'm sure, Yash, everybody have been hoping for some updates on when will Reliance Jio be listed. Unfortunately, no updates on that front, but a ton of other updates on Reliance Jio and what it's doing. Then Reliance Retail, again, another topic of interest for investors in the market. What are the progression plans of Reliance Retail's IPO is one thing that everybody was watching out for. Again, no details given on Reliance Retail's IPO. But then he spoke quite a bit about that. And then, of course, the big headline coming out of it in terms of the changes in the board, Neeta Ambani stepping down from the board of Reliance Industries, essentially because it said that she needs to concentrate full-time as a chairperson of Reliance Foundation and expand the work of Reliance Foundation. For that, she needs to take time out. So that, hence, she's out of the board of Reliance Industries. And, of course, the children taking over. As far as Jio specifically is concerned, you spoke about the launch of the Jio Air Fiber on the 19th of September, which is Ganesh Chaturthi. Mukesh Ambani gave out the overall customer subscriber base for Reliance Jio, 450 million plus subscribers. Reliance Jio has crossed 1.5 million kilometers of optical fiber has been put. Jio Fiber alone has 10 million subscribers. This is apart from Reliance Jio. 5G services, Mukesh Ambani says, already covers 98% of the pin codes in India, or 94% of towns and cities will be covered 100% by the end of December. These are the updates on Reliance Jio. Reliance Retail, the big announcement everybody is looking for. Qatar Investment Authority is investing $1 billion in Reliance Retail for a 1% stake, which will value Reliance Retail at 8.28 lakh crore rupees, putting it amongst the top 10 global retailers. So these were big updates. There's also, of course, Mukesh Ambani focusing on artificial intelligence and saying that they will be developing India-specific artificial intelligence products and services with Jio platforms. And of course, Mukesh Ambani also, it's Reliance Industries after all, talking about the fact that Reliance is well on its way to producing 30% of India's oil and gas needs. So that is another statement coming in from Mukesh Ambani. Apart from the fact that one more update, Shweta, if I can, Jio Financial Services, big talk of Jio Financial Services. Mukesh Ambani confirming that Jio Financial Services will be entering the insurance sector in India, will be providing smart and simple insurance products, life insurance, general insurance and health insurance. And of course, again, using technology to democratize financial services in the country. That's another thing that Jio Financial Services is looking forward to do. So this, in a nutshell, is what Mukesh Ambani's 46th Reliance AGM speech was all about, Shweta.
All right, Krishna, let's quickly go through some of these major announcements, one after the other. Let's stick to Jio Financial Services because there was lack of clarity there. Ashish, it appears that there's more clarity now. We know that they are going to enter insurance space. we know that they will also have their own AUM. We know that there's some, clarity as far as what business Jio Financial Services will be operating in. Is that enough or more clarity needed?
No, I think this was known earlier also. This is not something which they are revealing today, that they will venture into insurance business or AMC business, etc. They were all in pipeline and everybody was knowing about this. So nothing new, if you ask me. And this is the reason we saw that price of Jio Financial started falling when such developments came, because there's something new which market got out of their Jio Financial plan.
Okay, nothing new. Is that the reason why perhaps the stock ended in the red today?
That's what I'm saying. Because this insurance foray or EMC business or lending, this is the core activities which this company is supposed to do. And they said we are in process of tying up with a global player, etc. also. So I think all these activities will take time. The insurance business, which cannot be developed in 1 month or 1 year, will take 5 years, 7 years time frame. So this is the reason some correction was there in the stock today.
All right, and as far as Reliance Retail is concerned, Ashish, you did mention that we were, the hopes were that perhaps there's going to be a big demerger, but some very interesting takeaways. I'm going to quickly read them. For Reliance Retail specifically, revenues up 30%, 100 crore total transactions made, 78 crore plus footfall so far, 25 crore customer base, e-commerce revenue as much as 50,000 crores. All of that, of course, augurs well for the Reliance Retail business. But what was the expectations as far as, demerger sort of entity is concerned, whether Reliance Retail will be demerged, whether there's going to be value creation? That hasn't happened so far. But, Reliance Retail there seems to be very, very promising at this point, with all the numbers that is coming out. As Krishna pointed out, one of the 10 most perhaps valuable retail commerce companies in the world.
And if I may, I'm guessing after all that information, the only information that wasn't given was what is the roadmap for the IPO to hit the market eventually?
Yes, I agree. And whatever the data that you have shared, there's a reason QIA has put in $1 billion to get 1% equity of this company. So everything is valuable, growth is quite robust, but the only thing is when the IPO will come, this is the $1 million question which remain unaddressed, and this is the reason market is slightly nervous at the end of AGM, like there's no roadmap for that still given. But I think in previous discussions, they have already said in 12 to 15 months time, gradually things will take shape. But as this QIA investment came recently, so market was hoping maybe this announcement's around the corner. But I think it will take some time and they'll raise money even at higher valuation.
Okay, let's move away from financial services to telecom, which is where I think Jio continues to be very, very promising, Krishna. And the numbers are quite stunning at that. Current customer base of 450 million plus subscribers, already yes. One of the most dominant player in the market at this point in time, decimating the competition.
Absolutely. In fact, they gave out some numbers about their growth, being 45% a year on year, and that beating the entire competition. So you're right in saying the fact that they're just decimating competition in that sense. Jio Fiber, a niche product like Jio Fiber itself already has 10 million subscribers. And as you gave the headline right at the beginning, they're not content with Jio Fiber, they want to go for Jio Air Fiber, which is going to be launched on 19th of September, all in all pointing to an extremely confident way forward for their telecom business per se. And they're giving out all kind of statistics like, their optical fiber network covers 1.5 million kilometers across India. So they're clearly expanding their reach. 5G, to be really specific. Mukesh Ambani also talking about the importance of 5G and how 5G will revolutionize India's economy. They're very clear about the kind of 5G reach they want to reach. They want to take 5G and bring it across all parts of India and in fact, they want to make this a 2G Mukt Bharat, which means that there is not going to be 2G anymore. There's going to be minimum 3G, for which they also spoke about the Jio Bharat phone. Essentially, they were looking at 4 frontiers to drive the telecom business. One is the consumer segment, the other is the business segment, and then of course the platforms. They want to take the Jio platforms and expand them globally. These are some of the frontiers. The final frontier for growth for Jio's Reliance's telecom business, which is Jio, which Mukesh Ambani talked about, is artificial intelligence. Okay. And in fact, he made a mission statement saying that AI for everyone, AI everywhere. So, Reliance wants to drive the artificial revolution in India, Shweta, to be precise.
And we don't know what sort of foray Reliance has made into AI
they've made quite a few. They've given out details on the kind of investments that they've made so far. They're already, the work is in progress. It's just a matter of when they're planning to develop platforms which are in domains which are artificial intelligence domains, and artificial intelligence platforms goes without saying, that are India specific, that solves India specific problems. The Mukesh Ambani's statement was that they're in the process of developing these solutions and AI driven solutions and AI platforms for solutions and AI products for solutions. So they're very much into it. They've already invested tons of money into it already. So it's just a matter of time before we see Reliance AI take off.
All right, and before we move on, I think a final word for Ashish at this point. Ashish, what is your take and view on the Reliance stock and the Reliance group at large? What are your key expectations? What is your perhaps take on the stock specifically at this point in time for both Jio and Reliance?
As fundamentals are concerned, if you want to take the poll of analysts, which is available out of maybe 34-35 analysts are actively covering, almost 70% analyst reports are buy on Reliance. So even I don't want to be in contradiction to that, because fundamentally the kind of size that Reliance enjoys in whatever the business is huge, and whatever the opportunity these businesses post unlocking will offer is also quite immense. Even if we were talking about the telecom, they are having almost 52% market share now in telecom market. Every second phone is now Jio phone, and whatever they achieved in last 4 to 5 years time. So whatever they are doing is commendable and sizable. So, but only thing is what market wanted to listen particularly in this AGM was the value unlocking. But nevertheless, company is fundamentally sound. They're all businesses are firing with all the cylinders, and they are doing all right things. So I'm bullish as far as Reliance is concerned. Maybe my next 1 year target for the stock will be around 3,000 rupees.
All right, Ashish, there, of course, bullish as far as stock performance is concerned. Stock investors perhaps not taking too kindly at this point in time with, announcements that have come in by the way of 46th AGM. They were hoping for more radical announcements, Krishna, but that hasn't really happened. But before I let you go and let Ashish go, what stood out for you in this AGM?
One was clearly there's a transition that is happening at the topmost echelons of Reliance Industries. You're seeing the next generation take charge,
taking over,
and they all have individual responsibilities. One takes care of Jio, which is their telecom business. The other takes care of Reliance Retail, high value businesses that are expected to drive Reliance Group's growth going forward. While the big man stays on top, taking care of the oil and gas business, essentially. That's one thing that really stood out for me. And the other is the fact that look at this essentially oil and gas company now talking all consumer business,
everything,
all consumer businesses from telecom to
retail to telecom, every business
and
that
the
is
biggest
out
of
there.
all, and the biggest of all, India is known for creating technology giants, but India's biggest giant, the giant of all companies in India, is calling itself a new age tech company, which to me was the most radical announcement that I heard in the 46th AGM of RIL, Shweta.
All right, Ashish Maheshwari, Krishna Kumar, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon for your insights on that very crucial story. But we're going to shift focus for now. 9 years of Jan Dhan, the Pradhan Mantri Dhan Yojana, the government's flagship scheme for banking the unbanked citizens, completed 9 years today. Launched on 28th of August 2014 under the Jan Dhan scheme, the total number of accounts have grown up to 50.09 crores from 14.72 crores in March of 2015. The value of total deposits under the PMJDY scheme has reached 2.03 lakh crore from 15,670 crores in the March of 2015. The average deposit has also increased to 4,063 rupees per Jan Dhan account from 1,065 rupees in the March of 2015. The JAM Trinity or the Jan Dhan account Aadhaar mobile linkage has facilitated DBT or the direct benefit transfers of welfare subsidies into bank accounts of the poor or the underprivileged, and has also plugged leakages significantly so. But there have also been some misses as well, such as the number of bank accounts with zero balance stands currently at 4 crore, almost 8% of the total accounts that have opened so far under the Pradhan Mantri Dhan Yojana scheme. Has the scheme been a success? What are the hits and the misses? To discuss that and more, joining us is Srinath Sridharan, who's a markets commentator. Also with me, after a very long time, is Rakesh Khar here in the studio. Good afternoon, gentlemen, to both of you. Rakesh.
Good afternoon, Shweta. How have you been?
I am very well. It's
interesting
very good
set of
to have
stories
you.
today. You have, Reliance, AGM, and now Jan Dhan. It's a great mix, and I heard our colleague Krishna talk about how Reliance is pivoting to a technology company, and I think at the heart of Jan Dhan is technology. Banking the unbanked has been a challenge right since independence, but it's been brought about by the much talked about JAM Trinity now, and at the core of this breakthrough, I would call, obviously there are challenges like you pointed out, is technology. So in that sense, technology is the mood of the nation, it's the mood of the world, and it's driving phenomenal change, transformational change. Coming back to JAM, I guess, or Jan Dhan Yojana, this is essentially one of the first schemes launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as part of his, August 15th speech in 2014, is essentially aimed at financial inclusion. Because right from the father of the nation to every successive prime minister, financial inclusion has been a stated dream. It's still we're not completely come over the challenge. But Jan Dhan has brought about a dramatic shift. It's a paradigm shift in the way this country has been banked. There are challenges. I guess. The government should be happy to look at these numbers, 2 lakh crore plus savings in in Jan Dhan accounts, which is a good number, and almost 50 crores
50
as
crore.
account holders.
500 million.
500 million, and what strikes me most, and I think what all should note and celebrate, is the 55%, I guess, number of women account holders. So in that sense, transformational, technology-led, equity-led development, when it has the equity as its key parameter, that makes the massive change that we talk about. Frankly, if you ask me, I would have looked at, in the last 9 years, some fresh templating or some sort of mega, innovation on this. I have missed that, frankly. But pluses, let me just count pluses again. Women is a big plus.
Okay.
4,000 rupees as the benchmark in terms of the average account holding from zero in 9 years is not bad. It is more than the per capita income that most of us Indians have as an average. Then, the insurance. There is an insurance of 30,000 rupees with life, and there's an insurance of, I think, 1 lakh for accident. And if you have also taken the RuPay card, which is coming free, that has an additional 2 lakh cover as an insurance. Couldn't get better than that. Challenges, as I said, we'll hear our expert Sridhar back, who is on our network once again. Happy to see him and hear him. But my own view is that we should look at another big breakthrough when it comes to reimagining Jan Dhan Yojana.
Right.
I have some ideas, but let's hear Sridhar
let's
first.
hear your ideas in just a bit. Let's also quickly get Srinath Sridharan also joining us after a very, very long time. Srinath, good to have you back. I want to first quickly begin by asking, do you agree there with Rakesh that partly it was a dream of many successive governments, but at this point in time, last 9 years seem to have come into some fruition. The dream seemed to have come into some fruition. More number of people are now a part of the formal banking structure.
Hi Shweta, good to be back after a long time. Yes, I do agree with Rakesh, but if you look at the catalyst, it's been probably the last 6 to 7 years. If you look at the Trinity, the JAM Trinity as we call it, kind of picked up steam from 2016 when UPI also came into being. So from that perspective, I think it is more about, I think, a touchy word, but I think it removed financial untouchability. I mean, nobody wanted to speak to people who were below the poverty line, economically weaker section. I think till date, we still lag credit access to much of these folks. So from that point, removal of financial untouchability using digital, I think a great positive. From not so positive is, I think we have a long way to go from credit access to our MSME. I mean, there are millions of crores of actually 11 crore people work in MSME and SME, and they still don't have much of credit access. Can we somehow bring schemes which link their Jan Dhan account to give them credit access? That's one. Rakesh spoke about insurance, but I think we will have to be far more creative in increasing health insurance schemes and penetration. COVID taught us a lot of it, but we seem to have forgotten those lessons. Of course, in the larger narrative of the insurance sector in India, the penetration is only 3%. It is more trust-based issue rather than anything else. So can we do something? And last but not the least, what would be a useful tool? One of the worries that I have from the next 20-year perspective, which we need to start working on now, is the pension, the national pension scheme. I mean, we don't really cover the informal sector. While there is a scheme available, it has not been successful because if you miss paying the monthly premium to that, you actually lose out on the benefits. So can we relook at pension scheme for the unbanked or the informal sector? And I think that's where the power of Jan Dhan is. And what also brings me to a surprise is we are looking at a huge number, 50 crore Jan Dhan accounts out of 140 crore Indians. And yet we keep speaking about the massive number of Indian middle class. I mean, I think this data seems to be actually questioning the middle class numbers holistically. I think some of the statistics that you spoke about, Shweta, are very, very encouraging, but more encouraging is the average deposit per Jan Dhan account is phenomenal. It's a four times increase from 2015 to 2023. That's a far greater number. I wouldn't really worry about the 8% dormant accounts that Jan Dhan accounts seem to have. I think if you look at the conventional private sector and the top 10 public sector banks, and especially the salary accounts that they hold or claim to hold, they'll be far more dormant. I mean, you and I and Rakesh, I think, would have an average of at least 3 bank accounts changing jobs during a 10 to 20-year career. Those accounts lie dormant and nobody speaks about it. I think it will be important to bring that also context to what Jan Dhan account dormant accounts are.
Okay, very interesting.
Very fair point.
Very fair point. Very interesting as to how many of the accounts that you
Shweta,
have are dormant, Rakesh. I have at least 2 accounts.
I have. You know, what happens is when you change jobs, Shweta,
you move on.
Every job gives you a legacy of a bank account, and you lose track at my age to see, which job you left when and what happened to that bank account. I think there is a need for interpolability between bank accounts now. Like we have a UAN for our EPF, we need one account number which is universal, tying up all the...
Like in telecom, port account number perhaps.
Good, that's a good idea. But for Jan Dhan, I think what's interesting is also that health insurance is most welcome. If there is some way 50 crore people, even if you eliminate the zero account, but bring them in as well, for some scheme for health insurance, we'll have a massive facelift, not only to the insurance sector, but also in terms of mitigating any possible chance of people, getting from one cycle of economy going below, from lower middle class to poverty if they hit a big ticket ailment. There's evidence to prove that. But if there's medical insurance which is inbuilt as part of the overall insurance menu, I think buy that point that our colleague mentioned. So government must look at it. But I want to reflect on one key thought, how big ticket ideas are possible, Shweta. When this came in, I was also a little circumspect. We were skeptical that, most of it will end up as zero balance account. So that's a huge journey. It's a transformational journey. There's a lot of learning. My revisiting the entire paradigm is on 2 accounts. One is that, what do we do with this 2 lakh crore? Is it being, treated as a corpus which can have a force multiplier? I don't think that's happening. This 2 lakh crore is a very, very large amount of money. I know there are mindset issues like EPF investments in equities all these years we've been battling with that challenge. And when it was 5%, we had some issues. You know, we need to understand that market forces, of course, with all attendant checks and balances, this 2 lakh crore also needs to be turned around so that there are better returns for account holders. That's how I would, you know, reimagine this scheme. And the other big thing is government has this data of 50 crore people or account holders. When we talk of financial inclusion, the biggest challenge today is we have created a massive capability, you know, despite COVID, on the supply side. There is very little matching capability on the demand side. It's not an imperative of the government that they do it, but the entire ecosystem, when we talk about financial inclusion and financial untouchability, we have to move from financial literacy to financial empowerment. In between comes wisdom. So both RBI and Finance Ministry and the entire Jan Dhan ecosystem must build this, you know, effort in terms of bringing into its ambit the capability to create a very, very vibrant demand which matches the supply side. Let me give you an example. There are n number of, you know, insurance companies. You know, you would know that everybody, you know, the spam calls keep coming that please buy insurance, please buy loans. But what is the capability that, you know, we are creating for an ordinary investor to be able to choose that? So this has macroeconomic ramifications, because ultimately what will happen is that it will spur demand, demand will spur consumption, and the economy will, you know, probably get another facelift.
Oh, absolutely. Economy is expected to get a facelift. It's been 9 years since the Jan Dhan Yojana was announced with a single purpose of financial inclusion, banking the unbanked. The data suggests there's been some success to it, at least. I think the sternest critics of perhaps Mr. Modi will also, and the government will also agree that there's the entire concept of Jam Trinity has met with some success. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, Rakesh and Srinath. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us this afternoon. But with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you, Shweta.
GPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now.
Violence, violence, violence. I don't like it. I avoid. But violence likes me. I can't avoid.